My name is Mark, a recording angel. I've been observing this earth since the dawn of creation. The Most High has asked me to share my recordings with you. The following are my records of Earth's earliest patriarchs and prophets, collected in this book, Survivors of the Dark Rebellion, God's Heroes from Adam to David. If today's recording contains situations which might be uncomfortable for younger listeners, I will mark the video with the words Parental Guidance Recommended. Chapter 2, Mark. After our daily praises, the sun rose to make an announcement. His eyes sparkled as he said, "The plans are all complete, and now we will share them with you. We are going to create planet Earth. We will give it its own sun and small solar system to revolve in. Its inhabitants will use them to mark time, and all its creatures from the highest to the lowest will be capable of reproducing themselves." Those who had not known of the sun's plans caught their breath in astonishment. It was not something that happened in heaven. How would this work? How wonderful to be a creature who could actually have a part in the creation like the Almighty. I felt a pang of sadness as I thought of Lucifer. Because of his jealousy and anger, he would not be able to share in the excitement of the birth of this new world. But I couldn't think about that right now, for the sun was still speaking. "And you are all invited," he said. "We will be traveling to that part of the universe, and you may watch the creation process." Spontaneously, we broke into another song of praise. It had to be the most exciting thing that had happened since our own creation. First day. We hovered a safe distance out in space as we watched the sun prepare for the first creative act. Raising his hand, he spoke, and a blinding explosion of light rippled across space. As our eyes adjusted, we noticed a water-covered planet turn slowly beneath us. Second day. The next gathering we had, the sun called Day 2. Again he lifted his hands and spoke. We swooped in closer for a better look. Heavy clouds filled the planet's atmosphere. Already it had the right proportions of oxygen and other gases for its future inhabitants to breathe. It was becoming a world ready for life. Third day. But if I thought what we had witnessed so far was exciting, the next day just took my breath away. This time when the sun spoke, land appeared. It was no longer an aquatic planet. He commanded again, and a carpet of green quickly materialized over the land. And then trees, shrubs, and flowers burst from the ground, bearing all kinds of fruit. "Come join me," cried the sun. Down on the surface of the planet, he said, "In this area, I am creating a special garden. It will be the home of our first human creatures. This tree is a very special one. It is the celestial portal for this planet. You may have access to this planet any time, those of you who are guardians, record keepers, or any of you who wish to visit. You may enter through here. Lucifer and the beings who joined him, they also have access to this planet through this port, but they have to stay at the tree, as long as the inhabitants of this planet are loyal to us." We laughed. Of course they'll be loyal. Why would they choose anything else? Yet I had sensed a trace of sadness in the sun's voice. It puzzled me. Watching the Son of the Almighty create this world was the most exciting thing I had ever experienced. Shouldn't he be just as excited? Fourth day. On the fourth day, we all sprawled out on the lush surface of the planet. The water droplets and other particulate matter in the oxygen-rich atmosphere started to settle. As it did, the air became clear. When the sun set below the horizon, we could see the system's other planets and nearby stars. Amid all the oohs and ahs came a voice from the tree. The pouting presence there was almost palpable. "You know those stars were there all the time," Lucifer taunted. "He didn't just create them." My friend Ariel laughed. "That is true. Ariel was one of the angels who specialized in astronomy and knew many of the planets from various missions in the service of the Almighty. "However," he said, "what is beautiful about this is not that the planets were already here, but that the Creator made it so that the inhabitants of Earth could see them. Now they will be able to use them to track time." Fifth day. We lay there marveling at the creative power of our God and laughing at the fun we had had so far watching him. "You should have seen Aurora yesterday," Ariel continued. "When the sun spoke and all the trees started to grow, Aurora swooped in to get a closer look and then had to jump back immediately because a branch had grown out to where his nose would have been." I laughed and said that I wish I had seen that. "I found out that we can fly backwards as fast as the Creator can make branches grow on earthly trees," Aurora commented, overhearing us. "We have already made another scientific discovery," Ariel joked. "And now I can hardly wait to see what the Creator will do for day 5. Just as the sun began to peek over the horizon, he began to speak, or to sing. A melodious lilt so filled his voice that we couldn't tell the difference, and in answer to him, little winged creatures, not like us, but smaller, with solid little bodies, flitted into existence. No, I guess you could not call them solid, for they seemed not to weigh much, perhaps with hollow bones to be light enough so they could fly. Instantly they darted about and chirped and warbled back as he continued to sing. More and more varieties filled the air and the tree branches. I marveled at their differences. Some had short triangular beaks for pecking seeds. "That's what they'll eat," the Creator explained when he saw us studying them. "Look at this one with his long, slender beak. He'll be able to get right into these flowers and drink the honey and nectar from them." Their colors and shapes were overwhelming. "Was this the great masterpiece you have hinted about?" I asked. He shook his head with a twinkle in his eye. "Oh no, we're working up to that. But I'm glad you like the birds. Come, look in the water," he said. As we dived in, we realized that the rivers and seas were no longer still, but teeming with life. Beautiful silvery creatures swam past, then more kinds, all of various colors, sizes, textures. Each of their shapes differed as well. "This type of tail is for fast swimming," the Creator pointed out. "And these fins, this one's fins are small and thin and snake-like, so he can rest in the cracks in the rocks," he continued to explain. And I just marveled. Many angels had worked at the labs learning about water dynamics and how different kinds of fins and other fish parts worked in the water, yet none of us had seen a final design or put all the components together, to say nothing of viewing the creature with life of its own. Our Creator was awesome, and we worshipped him, bubbling our praises under the water. As we followed him around oohing and awing, it seemed no time until the light began disappearing from the sky, and day 5 was over. "Tomorrow," he said, "you will see my masterpiece." We could hardly wait. Sixth day. The Creator started very early on day 6, hours before the sun cast a rosy dawn over the hills. "Why so early?" I asked him. He laughed. "Don't be fooled by the light and the darkness," he said. "Most humans will function during the light time and sleep during the darkness. But the darkness is hardly a time of inactivity. Many creatures will be active only at night and sleep in the daytime. Those are the ones I am creating now. Humans will call them nocturnal because of their habits." He spoke several more creatures into existence and then turned and looked at me. "What do you notice about these?" I studied them. Each pair was a little different, and yet I did notice that apart from them having fur and 4 legs, 2 ears and a tail, they had very large, round eyes that gave them a comical, cute expression. "Is it their eyes?" I asked. "Their eyes will be bigger than some of the other animals because they will need to see in the darkness." "They are perfect," I exclaimed. "What are their names?" The Creator paused. "I'm going to let Adam name them." "Adam?" "Ah, yes. Adam, you will have to wait a little bit to meet him. He is not here yet." Then he returned to his work, bringing more new pairs of creatures into existence. Soon the light of the sun appeared over the brow of the hill. We all broke into spontaneous applause and songs of joy as we marveled at the beautiful colors streaking the sky. The sun smiled at us, acknowledging our appreciation, and then continued to create more beings. Our song of joy paused as we all started laughing at some of them. A large pair of gray beasts with huge flapping ears and a long nose and a short skinny little tail had wandered over to the fruit trees. One of them had reached up into the tree with his long flexible nose. I wonder what Adam will call this one anyway. And grabbed a piece of fruit. His mate grabbed him by the tail and pulled on it as if to say, "Now don't get that fruit until you see if the Creator says it's okay for us to eat it." Turning, he made eye contact with her and flapped one of his ears. Just then, a large yellow beast with long skinny legs and an even taller slender neck wandered over to the tree and began munching on leaves high in its branches. The first gray beast glanced at the second one and almost appeared to raise an eyebrow. She flapped her ears and let go of his tail, and they both helped themselves to fruit from the tree. "Eat," the Creator said. "I made it for you." Soon animals, nosing around and exploring, digging in the fragrant earth or climbing in the trees, filled the hills and valleys. The Creator stopped, yet the day was only half over. "I wonder which one is Adam," I said to myself. The Creator smiled and said nothing, but moved over to an area where he had a mound of damp clay. Kneeling, he scooped it into his hands and began to shape it into intricate forms. "What is he doing?" Ariel inquired. "Doesn't he usually just speak things into existence?" "Yes, he has so far." Of course, it was hard to say what was usual for the Creator, for this was all new to us. Although he heard us, he did not answer, but his eyes twinkled as he continued to mold the clay. "He's making another beast," I exclaimed. "Look, he's creating it from the inside out." "This will be a bony type structure, and these are organs and connective tissues," he explained. Soon he had covered those layers with muscles and other body tissues, and then a smooth layer on the outside to protect it all. As he continued to mold the outer features, I caught my breath in amazement. It looks like him," I gasped. The other angels had noticed too. We all stared in amazement. Although it appeared to be a beast he was forming, it somehow resembled the Son of the Almighty One, or what he would look like if he had a corporeal body. The Creator sat back and examined his work. Then gently he bent down and blew breath into the creature. Suddenly, the clay figure began to take on a soft rosy hue. "It's alive!" I exclaimed, at the same instant as the rest of my friends. We caught our breath in amazement. And it was. The hair on his head now rippled as he turned his head to the side. His chest rose and fell as he continued to breathe on his own. His eyelids fluttered open as he stared into the face of his Creator. "Good morning, Adam," the Creator said to him. The being smiled. "Adam," the Son repeated. "Yes, that is your name. You are man." We all applauded and cheered as the human rose to his feet. "I created this home for you," the Creator continued, leading Adam by the hand. "You are the prince of this planet. Many creatures live here. You will be the king of everything. Take good care of them and this garden home, and they will be your companions." Adam's face glowed with delight as he discovered each surprise. The Creator chuckled with glee along with the human, and we all joined in. It was the most fun we had had all week. Suddenly, on an impulse, Adam broke into a run, following some creatures about half his size, who scampered up into a tree and swung from branch to branch. "Stop, stop," the Creator laughed. "You were their prince, remember? Call them and they will come to you." "Really?" Adam asked in delight, then stopped and stood regally. "Give them a name," the Creator prompted. "Monkeys, come to me," the man said solemnly. The creatures paused from their swinging, and obediently scampered down the tree and approached Adam. They peered at him curiously, and then a brave one scampered up his arm and sat on his shoulder, to Adam's delight. The great beasts who had long since gotten over their inhibitions about eating fruit off the tree lumbered over to observe the monkey playing with their prince. The bolder one reached out with his trunk and cautiously touched the man on the back. When Adam spun around in surprise, the beast stepped back a few paces. "What a magnificent fellow you are," the man said. "I will name you Elephant." Then he turned to the Creator. "Why are there two of each?" "The animals are of two kinds, male and female. This one is the male. The other is the female. Together they will be able to create new young, just like them." I could see the tree at the center of the garden that served as a portal to this world, shaking with almost visible fury from Lucifer's presence. A wave of understanding flooded over me as I realized yet another reason our ex-leader was so angry. The inhabitants of this planet would probably take reproduction for granted, yet it was something the heavenly inhabitants were not able to do. Lucifer, already furious that the Almighty Ones had not included him in the creation process, now had to watch even the animals they had created for the human prince's enjoyment be able to do something that he had longed to do. "It just isn't fair," he hissed from the tree. Ignoring him, we turned our attention back to the Creator. He was stroking the elephants' magnificent heads and scratching their trunks. "Then I will call you He-Elephant and She-Elephant," the man announced. The male wrapped his trunk around Adam and lifted him off the ground. "Whoa, He-Elephant, what are you doing?" the new ruler of this planet shouted, losing all of his dignity as he waved his arms and legs in the air. He-Elephant placed Adam up on his back. "Oh, thank you," Adam said, regaining his dignity. "This is terrific. Let's go exploring." The Creator laughed. "I'll visit you later, Adam," he said. "In the cool of the day, just before the darkness comes, I will come and walk with you every day, and I'll be back then. In the meantime, have fun." He-Elephant and She-Elephant lumbered off slowly with Adam, pointing out new things he wanted to see. But it was not the cool of the day yet, and Adam had too many questions to wait. When He-Elephant had lifted him down, the man began pacing back and forth with his brow furrowed. He noticed a brightly colored bird in the branches above him. "You're a pretty fellow," he said. "Come to me." The bird obediently flew down and perched on his left hand. "I don't see anyone else like you," he asked. "Were you created to be alone like me?" The bird tipped its head to one side, looking quizzical. Then we heard a raucous screeching as another bird swooped down and perched on Adam's shoulder. "You don't look alike," he commented. The first bird walked up his arm and began to scratch the other bird's head with its beak and groom its feathers. "Ah," Adam realized, "you would be he-parrot and she-parrot, and you just look different on the outside because you're not the same as the four-legged beasts." The parrots seemed to nod in agreement. The human sighed. "I wish I could talk to the Creator. I just don't understand this. All of you, every single animal I have met, has a he-beast and a she-beast, and yet there's only one of me. The Creator said he would come back in the cool of the evening, but I don't know when that will be. I hope it won't be a very long time." He absent-mindedly stroked the back of a large cat who had crept up next to him and was now sitting on its haunches, licking its paws. "Perhaps if I called," Adam said to himself slowly. "Creator? Creator God," he spoke louder. "Creator God, can you hear me?" It brought a ripple of smiles to all of us who were watching. Of course he can hear him, we thought to ourselves. But the Creator didn't smile. He just stepped up next to Adam and said, "I'm right here with you, Adam. What is it?" "It's wonderful," the man began. "Everything is wonderful. And yet, well, look at them." The Creator glanced at the animals and nodded. Well, it's all he-beast and she-beast, but there's only one of me. I think I'm a he-beast." "You are a man," the Creator said. "Because of that, you are higher than the beasts. But yes, you are a he." "Do I have a she?" Adam asked sadly. "No," the Creator replied. "Would you like one?" The man nodded. "Very well. It isn't good for man to be alone. It isn't good for any creature to be alone. Therefore, I will create a she-human that is part of your very own flesh, and you will treasure her." "I will," said Adam, glowing with delight. What part of me are you going to use?" "Lie down, Adam," the Creator told him, chuckling. "You are going to sleep, and I will take just a small piece from your side. You won't miss it at all." Adam looked relieved, as if the Creator would take one of his legs. I think he already realized that the Son of the Almighty was not only very wise, but also very practical. Obviously, this human still had much to learn. His eyes drifted shut as he missed yet another part of the Creator's magnificent workmanship. My friends and I were grateful that he didn't make us sleep through any of this. We wouldn't have missed it for anything. This broadcast has come from the book Survivors of the Dark Rebellion by Sally Pierson Dillon, with permission from the Review and Herald Publishing Association. This book and the rest of the series, War of the Ages, can be purchased by going to www.adventistbookcenter.com or by calling 1-800-765-6955. I'm your narrator, Austin Backus, and this audio project is a gift to you from my free Christian book ministry, RXF 1888. Please visit our website, www.rxf1888.com, to request free Christian books for both kids and adults. And join us here again for more stories from Mark the Recording Angel.